Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is JJ Fryer and today I'm going to be doing my very first book review, and today that book is A Thousand Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. Now this is the first book in the Firebird series, so I'm going to give you guys a little non-spoiler plot breakdown, and yeah, you guys, if you haven't read this book, go read it now because it might just be for you. So basically we follow this girl named Marguerite, and her father has been murdered, and the only suspect, well the prime suspect, sorry, is that her father's one of her father's proteges, English, and so with her mother's invention, she and another one of her parents' proteges go through these different dimensions to find Paul, who is the prime suspect, and stop him. And along the way, Marguerite falls in this love triangle between the two, her parents' proteges. So that's basically about it. If you guys have not read this book, goodbye, because I'm going to give a spoiler review now. So, we start off in this book with a girl running through the street, I believe. I can't remember, I haven't read this, I haven't read it that long ago, and yeah, so she goes and she writes "Kill Paul Markov," and we find out that straight off the bat her dad has been Marguerite's dad has been murdered, and they blame Paul, one of her parents' proteges, for his murder. And so Marguerite is basically an artist, while her parents and her sister are all into science in one way or another, because Marguerite's older sister, is an oceanographer, or wanting to be an oceanographer, and her parents are proteges, her parents are not proteges, her parents are physicists, and they've created this device called the Firebird, and that can allow someone to jump into alternate dimensions, now these dimensions, you have another persona of you, basically, and yeah, so Marguerite and Theo, the other protege that is under her parents' wing, just goes, well actually Theo just goes, hey, I'm just gonna go at this alone, and Marguerite, even though she doesn't want to do the science stuff, she says, hey, stop, I want to help you. Now, give me the other prototype. Oh, sorry, I should have gone back to it. So, Paul has stolen the actual Firebird, and while Theo and Marguerite have prototypes, and so they jump into the first, I guess you can say, universe, and without Marguerite consulting her parents, well, her mum, so she's going to be in trouble when she gets back. So the very first universe we jump into is called the London Verse, because, well, I'm on the second book at the moment, so that's kind of why, yeah. Okay, so this universe that she's jumped into is very technologically advanced. They have holographic screens which you can talk to, and all this sort of advanced tech stuff, and yeah, she wakes up and she's living with her aunt Susanna now because Marguerite's mum and Josie are dead, and so is her dad. So yeah, she lives with her aunt Susanna, and this Marguerite is living a very privileged life. And we learn in this, and we learn and you learn as you go through this book that it's actually the consciousness that goes into the the other personas, as you were, and yeah, so they wind up there, and um, yeah, so um, Marguerite meets Romola, I think her name is. I can't remember. Anyway, she meets Romola, and they get drunk even though she's 18 years old, and in America, everyone should know this, but you can't be an adult, and you're not an adult until you're 21. So they do some underage drinking and go to clubs and all the wild teenage stuff, and honestly, she's sick of this Marguerite. She's like, what the hell did this poor girl do to herself? And so yeah, Theo meets up with Marguerite because he's in, I think it's somewhere else in London, and yeah, this is kind of ironic that they land in London because Marguerite and Josie's father was from London, so yeah, and then from that universe, so when we get to the end of this little I wouldn't say arc, I'd say like segment, let's just throw that out there. She finds out that Paul might not be the killer, and she's thinking, well, who is? But Theo's still not convinced, and Paul jumps out of London versus Paul and into another Paul in some other dimension. So they go into that, and then they go on to the next universe, which is sort of a when Tsars were still in existence. So Marguerite is now a Grand Duchess of a Tsar. So she is she's the daughter of a Tsar, and when she first arrives in the Russiaverse, she breaks the Firebird, and well, she's stuck there for a few months, and she goes on learning that this Marguerite likes Paul and all that sort of stuff, and I'm just gonna, skip a bit to the end. Yeah, she's just, and then Marguerite learns that the Russiaverse Marguerite and the Russiaverse Paul have sort of like a love affair, and yeah, she ends up finding out that she actually loves Paul and not Theo as much, so that's a bit of a problem. And she also discovers in this universe that her dad is alive. Like, what the hell? Her dad is alive. Yeah, so that was a bit weird, and unbeknownst to him, she knows deep down that even though he is another version of her dad, she thinks that he can fix the Firebird for her, and eventually he does, and she confesses everything to the Russiaverse Paul, who ends up dying, and not a very happy story in the Russiaverse. So that she jumps into another universe after she's mourned the loss of Paul, and she goes into another futuristic world, but this time she's on a ship, and her parents are alive, and yeah, they know about so this time her parents are more like oceanographers in this universe. Same with Josie, but each Marguerite loves to like a version of art, and because Marguerite loves art, and I thought that was really nice, and I love this book because it's really well researched, and I love just how well researched it is. And actually this is based on, with the whole dimension thing, I forgot to add, sorry guys, this is based on string theory, which you guys can Google it up later. Okay, so in this next universe, yeah, she finds out that a whole lot of stuff, actually. She finds out that oh wait, no, is it? I think I skipped a universe, sorry guys. I believe she's oh no, before the oceanography universe, sorry guys, she goes into a universe which is almost similar to hers. I mean, her dad's alive, her whole family's alive, and Paul is still being framed, so that's the only difference in the universe before the ocean one, sorry. And she discovers the actual killer of her father from her universe, and that is Wyatt Conley, who you guys know is the head of Triad. And I actually watched the Thoughts on Tomes review of this, and I saw in her comments that someone said that Wyatt is based on like a sort of a Steve Jobs scene, because they use a lot of like T-phones and all that sort of stuff, and it's just like, yeah, that actually does make sense. And so Wyatt, yeah, he's a bit of a douche, isn't he? Well, guess all villains do, but they have an ulterior motive. So his ulterior motive was to create the perfect traveler, in each of the universes, and Marguerite just happens to be this one traveler who he created as the perfect traveler. And basically you find out the reason why she doesn't need reminders as often as everyone else is because she got hit with this energy that allows her to remember her former self, even though she's in other bodies of the other Marguerites in other universes. And he has a spot, and yeah, he just wants to basically take over all the bodies of people and bring gosh, I'm blanking. He's, because I haven't read this for a while, yeah, basically he's saying that you know, he can bring slightly less advanced universes, more advanced technology to wage war and stuff like that, I believe. Anyway, you'll just read the book and you'll find out. And yeah, now we skip to the ocean universe, and we find out that he has a spy, and unbeknownst to Marguerite, when she goes down to look for a winch in a submarine with Theo, that it's actually Theo. And Paul was saying like over the intercom when she found him in this ocean verse that yeah, I'm just going to call it the ocean verse, that there is a drug that enables white spies to still remember who they are, and it is called Night Thief, and it's this green substance, and Marguerite remembers Theo taking this green substance in the London universe, and she puts the pieces together, and they have a bit of a fight, and yeah, but that's not the biggest plot twist of all, guys. The biggest plot twist is that when Marguerite takes off her Firebird, she gives it to her dad in this ocean universe, and she activates a reminder. He's actually alive, but in this body, and I was like, what? Wait, he didn't die at all? And so it was Theo from the universe before the Oceanverse, who he is responsible for framing Paul and staging the murder of Marguerite's dad, and it's just like, oh, this is very complicated. But basically in the end, she returns home and everything's all good, but yeah, Theo's a bit scared because he was possessed by another Theo who was a spy, and he doesn't want to travel again. So yeah, that's basically about it. And Margaret chooses Paul, by the way, so spoilers. All in all, I gave this a 3.5, 3.75. The star meter's going up and down. I thought this was a well-researched book. Like I said, I've already jumped into the second book, 10,000 Skies Above You, and before we go, I just really want to talk about this cover. I love this cover. It's so beautiful, and I think the people who were in charge of the cover did a fantastic job. As you can see, like on the top half there, you've got London, and then on the bottom half, and if you flip it around, it's Russia. And you know, for those of you who have read this book, you know that Marguerite's mother is from Russia, and Marguerite's dad is from London, and she visits a version of London and a version of Russia. And you know, Paul's also from Russia as well, so that's really ironic. And if you can see really closely as well, you can see like little grains, well, that's what I'm going to call them, like little etchings there, which is like canvas, and it's really cool. Yeah, I'm just going to stop blabbering now. That's all for my review of 1,000 Pieces of You. Please stay tuned for my other reviews. If you like this video, guys, do give it a big thumbs up, and please subscribe. And until next time, guys, bye!